Hello, world, and welcome back to Pardon the Politics podcast. This is season 2, episode 23. I am your co-host, Jeezy, along with my brother and my partner in politics, Manny. My brother, how are you doing on this fine day?
Bro, I'm doing well.
Hey.
The sun is out. Father's Day is quickly approaching. So this is the actual last episode before Father's Day. So I think it's kind of key on us to remind all of our female listeners, go out and take care of the male or the father figure in your life.
Hey,
whether it's to you or your children.
I want to. I was about to say, I want to say something really. Do I want to be on this type of time today?
Look,
I'm gonna say it. Screw
there we
it.
Go.
If for the ladies, for the mothers, if you aren't going to applaud the father of your child or children, and you may consider him to be a sperm donor, which is fine. There are some situations where that is very
completely
acceptable.
The scenario.
But on Father's Day, if you have raised your beautiful children on your own or with your village, that does not give you the right to claim Father's Day either. And I want to make that, and I understand, and I want our listeners to understand. I wasn't even trying to be on this type of time today.
But here we.
I grew up in a single family home. Where my mother and my grandmother were the predominant supporters of my childhood, and never once did my mom try to make or claim Father's Day as a day that she needs to be recognized because she done some of the things that my father didn't. That is not how that works. You've done your work, ladies, and I will never take that away from you, just like I would never take it away from my mom.
And you have your day.
And you have your day. And we go extra hard in the paint on Mother's Day for those mothers that have played both roles. But if you are not a father, though you may have been supportive of in the absence of a father, it is not a day for you to receive any recognition. Sorry, ladies.
I mean, them the facts.
I just want to be real. We love you.
We do.
We love you. And from the bottom of my heart, as a supportive man, a supportive Black man, and a family dad, I am sorry that you are in the situation that you are in, that you do not have that male present to support those children or that child. But please just take that day as a moment of silence.
Yes. Yep.
That's all. That's all. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Welcome, listeners.
Welcome.
Welcome to another episode. We are so excited to be back podding with you guys. In this crazy political world that we seem to find home. We've pitched our tent in this in this massive chaos that has us constantly with enough content to talk about on a week-to-week basis. So we hope this episode finds you in great spirit. We're excited. So thank you for tuning in once again here at Pardon the Politics. So, man, I guess we'll jump right into it, man.
Yeah.
I think we got a good amount of things that we need to cover. And man, there was some heartbreak this past week, man. There was some sadness. So for our first segment, we want to talk about a breakup that we all had to witness. And I want to say this before we get into it. I hate when I see relationships go south, go sour over the internet.
Bro,
we shouldn't have to witness that.
We're not talking about the Birdman Tony Braxton breakup.
Oh, bro. I thought you talking about him and Lil Wayne.
Bro.
I mean, we had to witness that too. we got Halle and DDG. We got everybody. But I hate when relationships have to be put on the internet. Some things are just private and just should be behind closed doors. And unfortunately, this week we seen a breakup that we all just had to witness, and that was the bromance between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
They once shook hands in the neon glow. building empires with the money flow. But the bill came due and the numbers lied. Elon turned, said I can't abide. Oh, the rockets crashed and the tweets did burn. From golden towers to bridges turned. No electric dreams, no deals to mend. They'll never be great again, my friend.
So sad, bro. So sad, bro. We had one time for the breakup, man.
First off, let me just tell you, social media has given us so much quality content.
Oh, bro. And that was pulled from social media. I forgot the person who actually created that song, but shout out to them. But yes,
that was beautiful,
bro. A very beautiful ballad, man. That really just captured the full scope of just how terrible, how heartbreaking this breakup was that we had to witness.
And so quickly. So quickly, like last week when we were prepping for the pod, me and Jeezy were sitting talking about it, and we're just like, "Oh man, Elon's leaving Doge. Should we cover it this week?" And we said, "Nah, there'll be more to this. We got time to cover it." But I know I didn't think that it was getting ready to take this turn.
I didn't either, man. It was fast, like,
bruh.
Which makes me think, how genuine was the relationship if the breakup had to just be so toxic? I mean, did you guys really love each other from the beginning? I mean, for you just to treat each other so bad, two people that just love each other, how can they just be so mean and toxic to one another?
I don't know exactly what kicked it off, because for those of you who are watching, last week we had the farewell press conference. So we went from that to this.
Bruh.
In a week, it's been a week time from Elon is great. I love you, Elon. He gave him a key to the United States to Elon.
What?
At the end
what door did that key open?
Bro, no door I want access
to the whole country?
Yeah, every door. It's the master key. Best key. Every door in government.
You got a skeleton key with a key from every 50 states.
But we went from that to Donald Trump now allegedly trying to sell the Tesla he bought on the White House lawn.
Nah, bruh. He's selling the Tesla?
Mm-hmm. The Tesla is about to hit the market. That thing is going to go for stupid money.
Which is funny to me because Trump came out and he said that, for whatever reason, whenever people leave, such a beautiful, group of people and, working with him, they get this Trump deranged syndrome where they just act like they just get mean. And he said they get hostile and they wake up angry, and I don't get it.
And so going back to the speed, I'll quickly go through the timeline.
Okay.
Monday, Elon, he kind of subtweets it.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, I want our listeners to understand this. What sparked this was what you have been hearing us talk about in the previous episode and what's been circulating all over the news circuit as our one big beautiful bill. That is what the BBB. Shout out to LeVar Ball. This is what had sparked this mass breakup that's gone over the interweb. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So Monday, Elon just kind of subtweeted. He's like, "Hey, we got a debt problem. This is doing this is fiscally irresponsible." That was Monday. Trump ain't saying nothing. He's like, "All right, whatever." Tuesday, he was more direct. He said, Oh no, I'm not saying in general we're being fiscally irresponsible. I'm saying this bill is irresponsible. And Trump, was not happy about it.
Yeah.
But Elon said the bill was a bloated monstrosity that does nothing for middle America. And you know what? The man's spot on.
Hey, bro, no.
Spot on.
Now, they talk about Elon do a whole lot of drinking, a whole lot of drug use, but I got a feeling that when he seen these details, he was sober.
Oh, yeah.
he was in his right mind.
Either he was sober or got to the part where they were talking about cutting all the EV mandates and sobered up real quick.
What was that clip with Leonardo where he snaps at the TV and points? He's like, oh, yeah, no. I see that.
Nope. So that was on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, it's like Elon got real mad and said, you know what? Hashtag America Party. That's right. He said he was open to a third party that's between Democrats and Republicans. And again, Elon, you're not completely off base with this.
Nope. You sure not.
Then on Thursday, oh man, Thursday was a fun day. Bruh. If you didn't have a side on this, because that's when Musk comes out and says, well, the real reason y'all ain't seen the Epstein files is because Trump was in it.
Bruh. And first of all, I want you to know that when he was doing these things in such real time that you had Kash Patel, who I think was on Joe Rogan's podcast,
getting it as breaking news.
Which, first of all, Kash ain't even gave Congress that budget yet, but he on Joe Rogan.
No budget.
And that is a law that he needs to get that budget over to Congress. He ain't did it, but he got time to go talk to Joe Rogan. And then you had Theo on his podcast. JD Vance was on there, and he was getting it breaking news then too. It was like, oh, bro, this is crazy.
I ain't seen a Twitter fight like this since Juicy Campus,
bro. Shout out to Juicy Campus, bro.
That because the tweets were flying more than like 3 hours apart. I think that was the widest span.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was invested to the point where I had unfollowed Elon and Donald Trump because Elon was tearing my nerves up. So I had to. But when he started going off like this, I followed him back and I turned my notification on.
I need to see that.
I need to know. And I realized, I said, oh, this is a good Twitter match. Because we know Trump got them Twitter fingers too. And I woke up a couple of times in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, Elon is still going in. Like
he going.
Oh, bro, this is like a war between two. This was between ketamine and Sudafed. This was you got two, though they both are drugs. It's like, okay, they two different drugs, but they both are powerful.
Bruh, and they were going back and forth. And then it carries into Friday, where on a Newsmax interview, again, Trump says, hey, people leave my administration and they have the Trump derangement syndrome. And to be specific, Trump said Elon Musk was a bitter billionaire with delusions of grandeur.
Bruh.
And that's a wild statement.
That is a wild
statement. To say to the richest person in the world, like who has made money as a businessman by sending rockets into space.
But you ain't got to worry about him sending no more for Donald Trump.
Bruh. So, and then to watch the Republican Twitter, I'll just encompass it all together, having to pick sides, and largely was like, mommy, daddy, please stop fighting.
Please
stop fighting. And then there were calls. First of all, it was getting wild when Steve Bannon was coming in and be like, hey, y'all chill. Y'all getting a little wild.
Every time I see
down.
Steve Bannon, he wears the same outfit. That troubles me.
Right.
It's the same outfit he got released from jail in. It's like
either he's got like 57 of that same outfit.
Yeah, or homie just wild man.
But there were calls I saw coming up for those on the Donald Trump side that were just like, hey, the U.S. should just take over SpaceX from Elon. And I was like, that's wild. I kind of wanted to happen because if that would have happened, y'all, we would have done an emergency pod. And it still could have happened.
Hey, brother.
We coming on immediately.
Bruh.
And we're just going to report on the tweets and the stuff on Truth in real time.
Bruh. I want this fight to continue.
Bruh.
I feel like that this is some next level. Like, first of all, I want everybody to realize we're just now kind of getting to the point where we're about 6 months into this administration. What is going on? Right. This is supposed to be.
This is year 3.
This is like Avengers Infinity War. Like we this shouldn't be the first Avengers movie. We're still in the first Avengers, and we getting like Thanos level content right now, bro.
Immediately,
like what can possibly can top, like, bro? This is crazy. But even down to, Elon even tweeting out like impeaching Trump. Like he's like, oh, bro,
he was ready to go.
Let's impeach him and put JD Vance. So I'm feeling like, all right, JD probably like,
bro, why is my name in either of y'all mouths? Like,
why are y'all talking about me? I ain't got nothing to do with it. But I got a feeling that might have been the one tweet that JD was like, I'd be for it if y'all want to.
If that's what the people want.
But he. Like, going back to what you said before, the whole mommy and daddy fighting thing, this really tore, I'm going to call it a combined group. I'm going to call them Tech MAGA. It tore Tech MAGA all to pieces because no one knew who to side with. And Elon was making some very valuable points. And I think what really supports what he was saying is you've already had Republicans coming out saying that there were things in this they don't like this bill. With.
Yep.
So you already have Trump, who is shouting the praises of this one big beautiful bill, and poor Mike Johnson being the puppet to Geppetto Trump. To just whatever if Trump says it's good, but then you have this fighting going on for it. Even I was shocked at just Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out and kind of having her own, even though I kind of was like, Marjorie, out of all the things that you cared about, it was the AI regulation for the states. It's like, ma'am, there's so much more they need to do for your constituents. They do not care about AI. They worry about their Medicaid.
Bruh, I was shocked that she admitted that she didn't read it.
Bruh, facts. When she said it, I was like, okay, she jumping on the bandwagon of admitting it. But even with all of that hype going on, and Trump even came out and was like, Elon's lying. I'm so disappointed in him. He knew about the bill. Elon was like, I didn't know nothing about this bill. Now, to Elon's defense, he could be right.
He could be. And Trump could I don't know who to believe.
Depending on how drunk or how high he was when Trump talked about the bill, he might not have remembered that they said.
Right.
That's very possible.
Well, he said possible. Like the ending the EV subsidies had been something that was on the table for a while, and I can believe that Trump had said it before.
Yeah.
Because this is not the most electric friendly administration.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that. Why does Trump hate electric vehicles so bad? Because he don't even drive. He has a serious distaste for electric vehicles, and he always has to say is something that nobody wants. I'm like, well, there's a lot of people that actually that are driving and like them.
But I think this is where we got to remember, Trump is a 78-year-old man.
Very true.
So probably the last time that Trump has truly had to operate a vehicle, no one wanted electric vehicles.
Bruh.
Like, it wasn't really until we got a electric vehicle that looked like a car.
Yeah.
Not a clown car.
Yeah.
Actually looked like a car, and people said, I want to drive that.
Yeah.
And so I'm not shocked. Like, I don't know why he would be shocked by that. Now, he could also be shocked just from the standpoint of You brought me here with Doge to cut spending, and here you go just cranking it back up. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here? And I think somewhere around Friday evening or Saturday, Elon said, you know what, let me chill out. Because if he does really try to come for my companies, he can. And he's like, I'd be down to talk. He was like, look, I said some things. You said some things.
No, man, stand on business, bro. Stand on business. No, man.
But see, that's at least what Trump has said. Trump was at a rally on Saturday and said, I will not be speaking with Elon Musk again. He's shown profound disrespect, not to just me, but the presidency. And then the crowd at the rally started chanting, kick out Elon. Because people were calling for Elon to be deported. I said, what? What is happening?
I mean, hey, the way that they just rounding people up. I mean, yeah. if you that bad, Trump, yeah, kick him out.
Yeah. So, and then with Elon saying, hey, I'll fund Democrats if I have to. I said, oh, yeah. I think that's the one that really started to get up under his skin and started really making the refs be like, oh, hey, whoa, yo, y'all chill out. Maybe this escalated a little too much, too fast.
And I think Trump responded to that, like, if you fund them if you want to. See what happens.
Great mistake. I'll tell you what will happen. A bunch of Democrats will win.
Bro. And I think Elon is speaking, and now I have heard that, when Elon made the tweet, and he stated, he was like, the only reason that Trump is president is because of me. It made me think.
Uh-oh.
Now, it was mentioned. It was mentioned as a conspiracy theory that the only reason that Trump won, Elon hacked some of them systems, made sure them votes look the way they needed to look to get them over that threshold.
Well, look, and I was going to talk about this in my spotlight, but I think it fits perfectly right now. So apparently in a county in New York, Rockingham, I don't know the county, but they're talking about the vote totals, to which they were just like, how did Trump win the presidency, but every other office went blue? How does this happen? And you know what? I don't know New York. So that might look weird.
Yeah.
But then I saw a stream of TikTokers and tweeters from our good old state of North Carolina who were just like, yeah, and the same thing happened in North Carolina too. Trump won the state, but then we voted blue on everything else. What's going on here? And to you people, to you people in North Carolina, thank you for now paying attention to politics. And let me be the first to let you know, this is North Carolina. Welcome to North Carolina. We just do this.
Yep.
Everyone's like, oh, how do we vote for Trump and Governor Stein? Because the Republican nominee was one. Mark, I'd like to go sit in these back rooms of adult material vending locations. I think that was probably the cleanest way I could say that.
After I've been making pizzas all night.
And enjoy me some content while tweeting about it and writing graphic novels.
Bruh, first of all, if somebody been rolling dough and pizzas all night and the first, because I've seen a lot of those people, bro. If you go to a pizza restaurant, them guys have been making pizza, bro. They're a little dirty when they get off work, bro. They got flour all over it, bro. The fact that Mark didn't think to go home and shower first, bro. He went and sat his lap in an adult vendor to comb through catalogs of material is a wild man. But I digress. Go ahead, brother.
But I'm like, y'all, North Carolina is a weird state.
Yep.
We do what we want. And usually that means people are splitting the ballot.
Yep.
And if you're wondering why that's happening more frequently, it's because we got rid of straight ticket voting. So you actually have to vote for every race.
Yep.
So again, we've said this so many times on this pod. Does voter fraud happen? Yes.
Yes.
Has it happened, or has it been proved to have happened at a scale large enough to impact a race? It has not. Although Jefferson Griffin might disagree with that statement.
It hasn't happened until now. Bruh, that's what I thought the big secret that Elon was going to drop when he said, I was like, oh God, bruh, 10-4 had community. It's our time. we up big. Well, when he was like the Epstein, I was like,
It's like we knew that. We knew that. We knew that. We knew that was the reason why we hadn't seen that footage of them
partying together. Brother, I don't party with no strangers like that.
Yeah. Now the question is if we look back through all this and all the other things that come out, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, has Trump been to a Diddy party? They're both from New York.
I heard in the case that some of those activities, them freak-offs took place in Trump Tower.
These happened in his hotel. I don't know. I'm just telling what the information in front of me says.
Was he the one with the veil on with the Nike hat? Yo.
Y'all, the boys don't make it past this pod. Just know we
appreciate y'all rocking with us up to this point. Bro, when Alvin Briggs come in and subpoena the boys to show up in the Diddy trial, bro, in case you think we know something. Like, bro, we don't know nothing. We just get the jokes on, bro. We don't want no problem.
Boy, the way I would just be on that stand, just laughing,
bro,
that we made it this far.
Like, bro, how did we get here?
How? Y'all make sure you listen to the. Boy, the way I'm going up there with a PTP embroidered shirt.
Oh, bro, I'm about to market myself, bro, like I just crossed a grad chapter. I got so many pieces of nail here. PTP ankle socks.
Bro, walking in there throwing hats like Trump was throwing that paper towel in Puerto Rico.
Bro, I'm about to market myself how LeVar Ball did with Big Baller Brand, bro. I'm going to have the tie on, the suit on, the hat on. Bro, the chain, everything, bro. but getting back to Musk, bro. Right. Getting back to Musk, you know,
he's not wrong. Like
he's not, man. And that's what I hate, man. I hate when you know what? It makes me think about Magneto. And when X-Men 96 came out, and I watched it, for the longest time, I felt like I always was on Xavier's side. But then when I watched X-Men 96 when it came out on Disney, I was like, you know what?
Magneto was on to something.
Magneto was right the whole time. And I hate that. And it made me realize, Manny, that sometimes the villain actually got a good point, man.
Bruh.
Thanos wasn't wrong either. Like
Killmonger.
Killmonger wasn't wrong.
Made some good point. Ultron.
Bruh. Was not wrong, bro. And so I'm sitting there looking at Elon as like Elon being the evil genius, but mixed with a little Tony Stark. I'm like, he's kind of on to something, man. With this, especially, I'm not even gonna lie. And we talked about it before. That whole third party thing, another party. Yeah. I was like, Elon got a point.
You got a point there.
You got a point.
And I think everyone forgets, coming into this administration, the idea and thought around Doge, even though the name, the jokes around it, the theory behind it, everyone was behind. We know as a country that we are extremely wasteful.
Oh, facts.
And the fact that somebody was going to come in and start looking at things and tearing it apart was something the American people really supported. So it's quite a predicament.
Well, I think also too, because when Trump talked about some of the subsidies that he was going to cut from Musk, I think Musk even came out and said, "Well, if you do that, then I believe I can't remember the Dragon 1 or whatever they used, basically to transport
the Dragon capsule,
to transport people back in space." He's like, "Okay, we're going to start like that. That's done. That's over." So I'm like, okay, this is. Trump, this isn't one of those games that you've played before where you think you got the upper hand. Maybe in some case you do, but you're talking about somebody that we've been able to rely on heavily.
We had those poor 2 astronauts stuck in space for what, 9-10 months?
Bro, yes.
Because the other option, Boeing, ain't pan out.
Who got them? Who got them out?
And I think the funny part about watching all of this is watching what some of these other countries are doing, where Russia came out and said, hey, Elon, we'll grant you asylum. I said,
when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh. Now, Trump can't get on the phone and he can't rally Putin in to get this water in between Ukraine. But Russia can speak up in the midst of all they got going on and say, hey.
Y'all come through. Come through.
I know she ain't love you like she should.
But we'll take care of you.
But I'll take care of you real nice over here. Like, bro, that to me was like, bruh, whoa.
Mr. Take Your Girl.
Bruh, whoa. We do not like, but even, man, when I think about this move by Elon, and where it could possibly go, because this can get really out of hand. Right now, I think it's kind of calmed down right now.
Everyone's chilled out. It's the weekend.
Yep.
You know, everyone logged out for the week and just like, you know, let me go chill for a bit.
But what does this speak to as far as the power and the range possibly that Musk may have politically, where there's a lot of Republicans that really look up to Elon. They take this, you know, they're like, hey, we love Elon.
The technocrats.
Yeah, technocrats.
The technocrats. But 2 things I'll say real quick on this one.
Okay.
The first being somebody likened this into the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef.
Okay.
Except both sides are Drake. And we both want them to crash out.
Bro, yep.
And then my next one is
we let it roll today.
So what y'all distracting us from?
Bruh, thank
what y'all distracting us from? Because fundamentally this meant nothing. Are y'all trying to draw attention away that the BBB is about to fail catastrophically?
Bro.
Are y'all trying to distract us from the fact of that major meteorologist who came out and said that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to accurately be able to predict what's going to be happening during hurricane season this year? Like, are we talking about that big orange red orb in the sky? Like, that's not the sun. Like, bruh, what are y'all distracting us from?
Bruh, something don't pan out about this, bruh.
Because part of it also seems like it was way
performative?
Yeah, a lot performative and just way too fast. Like, this escalated very quickly. Very quickly without even any like extra prodding. Like, I would have expected 1 or 2 things to really trigger this prodding. And because it all just can't be about the BBB.
Yeah.
Now, what I do think escalated it very quickly is when Musk said that he was on the Epstein list. And I think that's what was the accelerant in all this.
Yeah.
To which I'm then like, Elon, if that was your best punch, why do you throw that too early? You threw that entirely too early. That's a next week drop. So yeah, but what did we miss? What are we not talking about?
Yeah, and I also thought too, maybe before people get a chance to really comb through this bill, let's try to dead this now before before some more things start to get uncovered in this bill. That because we've seen that a lot of people have not read this. A lot of people are really kind of just learning what's in the bill as it's going along, and now that it's getting criticized and scrutinized in the public, people are now like, okay, well, maybe this part's in here and this part I don't agree with and that part's in here. Maybe they're like, hey, before they get to page 749,
let's go ahead and cut it.
Let's just cut it and throw some drama on it and send it back, and then we'll go from there, because we didn't think that we didn't think it was going to be this hard. I felt like they thought that it was going to be smooth. And shout out to whoever the person was that first was like, wait a minute, there's some stuff in here. The one person that actually read some of this stuff,
it was probably the person. This is what I think happened. It was either the person that wrote it themselves and was joking with their friends in the group chat, and somebody was like, nope. You hear this?
Bro,
hey, New York Post, check out page 253, section 4.
Bro. Somebody was like, bro, good thing they didn't get to section 9 on page 700. Somebody was like, what you mean page 9 on 700? They went and looked, was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
So.
But yeah, I don't think that, man, we don't know. I don't know what's next because it seems like there's going to be so many revisions. And I think that there's so much that isn't even known about it. This thing is going to be around just floating around in the Senate.
Well, and here's the rough part. So we have the Congressional Budget Office. I did some additional reading, and not only on this, but just some of the past stuff, and trying to figure out how the Congressional Budget Office gets to their score. And what I realized is that if you look back in the 2016 tax cuts, some of the tax cuts were planned to be offset by some tax raises. Mm-hmm. But they delayed those happening until probably right about now on corporate taxes, and how R&D is executed and how you're able to write R&D off. Well, those provisions were written back so they wouldn't come into effect until like now. So in the score, they still got credit for it, but we've not got any of that credit. So the question is now, it's like, okay, so they've punted it already so far back. Yeah. We could just offset it and just say, hey, this is not going to happen in a single bill, and just let it pass through and let no one talk about it. And then we would have just raised the debt without anything offsetting. So is that level? I know I've not done that level of reading of how many of the tax cuts and what the tax raises that are in this that could offset it have been pushed out into the future and could just essentially be wiped away out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I think the feeling I get from all of this, because I know that with the work that they said with Doge, and they were saying that Doge was going to save us $1 trillion. I know the numbers came out and they're nowhere near close to that. It seems like a lot of this is just trying to figure out, okay, we said we were going to do something, and right now it don't look like we're going to be able to do it. So what are we going to do? Can we cut this? Can we cut that? We're just trying to find it, and I feel like this method that we're using is just poor and terrible in structure, and before we know it, it's going to be year 3.5, and it'll be election season, and nothing's going to have been done, or we'll be in a worse position than we already are. So, good luck, Mr. Trump, finding it out. Maybe you and your boyfriend can
y'all go out to
work things out, bro. Yeah. Go get a Sudafed. He get on his ketamine, and y'all just hash it out, bro.
Y'all sit down, y'all chat it over, over a beer and a McDonald's supersized double fish fillet. Get some hot fries.
Bro, as the old song goes, break up to make up. That's all that we do. Maybe they'll get it together, man, and they'll be back on good terms. But as of right now, things aren't looking good in the tech MAGA world. So
and you know what? We here at Pardon Politics, we love to have some unity.
Oh yeah.
So President Trump, Elon, if y'all would like to come on the show, and talk this out with the boys, we are happy to facilitate that discussion.
Oh yeah. We'll mediate.
Now just know, these jokes are going to be flying. So if you're thin skinned, this is not the place for you. Not the right environment for y'all.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be the right place. But we can get y'all. We can get y'all to unify. Mm-hmm. We can get y'all together. We can get y'all on the same page.
Connect y'all with Ricky Lake. Yeah, this have made a great segment for Jerry Springer. Rest his soul.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the great. But bro, we'll see what happens and where the future lies in this bromance.
But let it not be lost. Elon is completely correct in his criticisms of the BBB. 100%.
Elon, you have our support on your stance on this bill.
You are correct.
Yes, sir. So we will see what happens with this bill and this bromance, and maybe there'll be some salvaging of one of the two. So with that being said, we'll move on to our next segment. And in our next segment, we have some news that broke this week that was a bit strange. If you guys remember, there was an individual we talked about when it came to immigration. There was a Maryland man that was by the name of Kilmar Garcia that was from the great state of Maryland that was wrongfully deported back in, was it March maybe?
Yeah. March this year.
So he was wrongfully deported, even though the court told them not to, but he was to El Salvador. And the Supreme Court had ruled that the United States needed to facilitate his return back to the United States. But we had the El Salvadorian president come and sit down with Trump, and basically it sounded like he was not coming back home. They were not going to adhere to what the Supreme Court told them, that they needed to facilitate his return. Well, we found out this week Garcia's back home.
He's home.
But he ain't back in his home.
Not at all.
Brother Garcia has been brought back to the U.S. On June the 6th, and he is now in custody in Tennessee, facing charges for an alleged involvement into a multi-year human smuggling operation. Now, these charges that seem to have come out of nowhere, in my opinion, right, but we'll talk about that a little more. He was accused of helping smuggle undocumented immigrants from Texas to Maryland with over 100+ trips. He was allegedly also involved, which also included him doing known MS-13 members, though no evidence of his direct gang ties have surfaced. And the two charges that he has is conspiracy to transport undocumented immigrants for profit and unlawful transportation of undocumented persons. So, what's your thoughts on it, brother?
I mean, all right, so here, first off, when this came out, I was initially happy because the first reading that I got from that is that Kilmar Garcia is back in the United States. And at first I was like, yo, this is great. And I'm just like, oh, this is Trump trying to cover up for the fact that Elon said that he was in the Epstein files. He said, let me go ahead and
get him home.
Let's get him redirected. So I was initially happy. And then I came out and began reading. And the charges are, I wanted to note for any members of the U.S. government that might be listening, this is just what I've read. I am not an expert in the legal field. My degree is in computer science. It is not in law. But these charges seem to be mighty convenient. And
I believe, brother, somebody that we know by the name of Takeoff said it.
Cap.
Charges got a little bit of cap to him.
But it was like it. So when they initially deported him, they said it was under administrative error. Wouldn't it have made sense to just say that, hey, he has these and this is why he was deported?
Yeah.
Like that. And then El Salvador, why did y'all just like release him back? Like you said, he came with big energy to the U.S. that this was like he's one of our nationals. We want him back, and y'all just gave him back over to the U.S.
Yeah, that seemed mad weird.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know. But his lawyer, Simon Sandoval Mogesberg, I completely butchered that last name. Stated that
that sounds like a public defender. He might be in trouble.
Well, I think this is a little bit too high profile now at this point for him to just have a generic.
Hey,
where's Benjamin Crump?
Bruh, yeah. Look, man, Ben say my hands are tied.
He's like, we got enough going on
outside my pay grade.
But he said this case is not just about immigration; it's about government accountability and due process, and I think that's going to be the real question here, because at this point it seems like this was really fast tracked, and I question what's the level of judicial review that's been done with this. What is the evidence? And I think we'll probably see this information over the next couple days. But it's real weird.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my problem with it. Well, like I said already, I think it's cap. And I'm not, and I want our listeners to understand, I'm not saying that this man hasn't done anything ever. We know that he's had some history of having some trouble with the law, but I just think the timing of this seems weird. I think it's more of a way of just kind of doing what the court has already told them they need to do without looking like looking weak.
Yeah.
But also, I have a serious problem with. I got a problem with Pam Bundy, and I want I really have a problem with her, because in the position in which you hold, I would expect for you as the Attorney General to have some accountability when you stand in front of the American people and you address something of this magnitude. She got up on stage at a press conference and talked about the charges for this man. And she put so many false allegations up on this man that it made no sense. It was egregious, the amount of things she said to this man. They had no reflection. He's only got 2 charges that he has over an arrest that happened over a traffic stop in Tennessee in 2022. She got up there and these are the allegations that she made that aren't in this indictment. She accused him of weapon trafficking. He is not charged with anything related to guns. Now, I want our listeners to understand this is the Attorney General of the United States.
The person in charge of persecuting.
Bingo. And she lying. I'm going to call it what it is. You're lying, Pam.
Big cap.
She accused him of drug trafficking.
Cap.
Not an indictment. She alleged his involvement in a murder.
Cap.
She suggested that he groomed children and solicited sexual images.
Cap.
She said that he ran a border human trafficking ring involving women and children.
Cap.
Why are you on stage? I mean, just fattening up these charges with all these allegations, and none of these are in that indictment that has been put on Breakup Garcia. And I think that it's very telling to go even further. There was an individual, the chief of criminal division for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Middle District of Tennessee. This man is the chief in this division. When these charges were sent to his office, this man resigned.
Yeah, because he knew it was crap. He knew.
And this ain't just an individual that's just new in the role. This man was a 15-year veteran in the office, and he stepped down the same day that these sealed indictments were filed. His departure reportedly reflects his concern that the prosecution was being pursued for political reasons.
Somebody came out and said that Bondi's framing of this case as a public safety threat is convenient, but ignores the fact that no violent offenses have been substantiated.
Bro, this is insane, and this is scary.
Well, and here's the other piece that I'm now wondering about this.
Okay.
Because we're coming on June. And we all know a couple of the things that are getting ready to happen in June is that the Supreme Court is going to be ruling on a whole bunch of cases that are direct impacts to Trump's power. My thought is that one of the things still hanging over this administration in the power struggle between the executive branch and the Supreme Court is that Trump has very blatantly defied the order to get him back.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they finally just did all this to make sure that he was back in the U.S. Before they started ruling on those cases in hope to make sure, or at least not put themselves in such a negative light as the Supreme Court starts deciding on these cases.
You got a point. That's a good point, man.
Because it's like I said, it's mighty convenient.
Yeah, it is, and it's even in that though. You know that this is a man's life that we're playing with over accusations and political stunts that there just shouldn't be going on, man.
And it's showing the willingness of this administration to be able to bend legal constructs to force immigration control.
Yes.
Immigration control that is largely viewed negatively. Not only just individual views, but also economically. This is viewed as not a good idea.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should be concerned from a due process standpoint.
Bingo.
Because once you have these norms established, what else are they coming for?
And that's an excellent point, Manny. If they're willing to bend, and then let's say that the ruling that comes in June from the court gives them what they make sense as the green light to do whatever they want to do, we should all, no matter who the person is, we should all think that every human should have the right to a due process. And if that is being stripped and ripped away, what type of world? What are we living in now?
Well, we're living in an authoritarian government, or as we titled and worked on a previous episode, a hostile government takeover.
Which is crazy, man. And man, even down to like this past week, separate from Garcia, there was the guy from YouTube, the famous guy on YouTube.
Kirby Lane?
Was that his name? The guy that got deported?
Oh, not if the guy who got deported. Yeah, there's so much news. We mixing up the names.
Bruh, it was a famous guy on TikTok. He's very viral, but he's from Senegal.
Oh yeah, no, Kirby Lane.
Oh, okay, he was in Nevada and then he got deported. Like,
well, I've heard he didn't get deported. He got detained and then released.
Okay. What did he self-deport? Like, did he just, after that happened, did he go back, or he's still here?
I think he's here legally.
Okay.
He's here legally. So
but even in that,
released. Yeah.
It's so much going on, man, where it's just like it's scary, man. And if the due process in this whole immigration thing can be just stripped away, then I just worry where that leaves us in this process.
Well, and here's the crazy thing. If that was the only thing that happened in immigration this week in the United States, that would be enough for us to talk about. But there was more that happened.
Oh, bro.
So for those of you, and it really kind of came to a head Friday into Saturday, where ICE got itself into a predicament.
Oh, bro.
So the good people at ICE, well, I won't say good, the people at ICE.
The good people at ICE is wild.
See, sorry. The people at ICE. The people employed by ICE.
Yes.
I'm certain that there's some people who work at ICE that just like, man, I'm just following orders.
Bruh.
But they apparently went into LA.
Oh, bro.
To start doing some ICE raids. And apparently pulled up some places and realized that they weren't really welcome there.
Oh, really?
And, you know, they had already said in LA and largely in California that, oh, no, ICE, we're not helping y'all. And LA is a wild place for it to be.
Already, yep.
Because LA is one of those cities where if you just look at the demographic breakdown, it is a 50-50 brown to Caucasian city at this standpoint. But it does have allegedly 1 million illegal immigrants.
Ooh, Jesus.
Well, the people there said, we're not going to take it. And started blocking streets and stopping ICE from moving. And that escalated to the point where ICE got buckled down into a corner and started to call for help.
Oh, no, but
they said, hey, we down bad. And then at that point, you're calling the police. LA has no choice but to go in and try to help them out. Well, that has continued to escalate. And what we saw Saturday night is large-scale protests. And it ultimately culminated. First off, shockingly, that no one has died.
Yeah.
So...
because the footage I've seen, it's like all out war.
Bruh, they said they have not seen these items since Rodney King.
Oh, bro.
So for more details, there was a warehouse in the fashion district and 2 Home Depots that resulted in 44 administrative arrests and 118 total requests. So the raids included military. They went in military style, flashbangs, pepper spray, tear gas, stun guns, and it got bad. The LAPD, because they got called in, said, hey, this is unlawful, but they use non-lethal munitions to try to clear it out. And they had standoffs. The next day, people were blocking the streets. But as a result of all of this, President Trump federalized the California National Guard, calling for 2,000 troops to be deployed to LA to control the riots. One thing I do want to make clear on this and how they were deployed is that Trump did not use the Insurrection Act.
Okay.
He did it under Title 10, basically a provision that allows them to support federal agents.
Okay.
But I have a question here. Just before we get to the legality of all that, why didn't you call for help on January 6th, 2021? Well, we had people die. Anyways, pause. We'll pin that. We'll save that one for later. But then you had Pete Hegseth saying that he was willing to call in active duty Marines from Camp Pendleton to come in and help. Then you had Trump saying he was going to or implement a ban on people wearing masks at protests. And
stop ICE from wearing masks.
Bro. So as of right now, I believe 300 people from the National Guard have arrived in LA. But this is not going to get better.
Nah.
Because in LA, you picked a hell of a city to be your first city to try to do this.
Yeah, nah. You might want to start a little smaller.
But it's almost like, is this now the game plan? In all these places that are that have sanctuary cities and things like that, is ICE plan to use these protests? Because you have the authorities who said, we're not helping you with this. ICE, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this alone. So is now their plan to go into these places undermanned for the situation, get themselves backed into a corner, and then call for help so that way local agencies now just have to help them? But yeah. And then you have the nonstop war between Governor Newsom and Trump. So this is problematic, and we hinted on before. This is what authoritarian rule looks like.
Yep,
using the government to quench the speech of people. And I get it again, but before anyone comes at us. Are people here illegally? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. But there's got to be a better way.
Well, I was telling someone today, while I understand there are people here that are here illegally, I've not heard one thing done to make the system better so that those that are can go through the right way. It sounds like it's just kick everybody out and then we'll fix it. But we know that fix is going to take forever. There's not enough judges. There's nearly not enough for people to even say, hey, if I want to legally come to the country, we're talking about something that may take months, years. So all this mass deportation, when we don't have a true foundation of a system for people to get in here legally, then what does that look like from just a societal standpoint, from an economical standpoint? Once all these people are gone, this is going to have an impact on our economy.
Geez, you know one of the largest way people are here illegally? They come into the U.S. on visas and then overstay those visas.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the largest segments of how people are here in the country illegally. And there's just got to be a healthy pathway to citizenship at this point.
It got to be. Because I will be very interested to know. Now, I'm not knowledgeable in this area, but how many of those people where the visas expire are they awaiting the next step? Right. And I'm kicked out. And let's say that person's here still working, still doing all the things, or haven't, God forbid, haven't had any type of any criminal background, or let's say they just had maybe a speeding ticket or something minor. I don't know. Those people are getting kicked out, but they're in the system waiting on that process. And we don't have anything in place to help those people to get here, because everyone that's getting deported, and I think this is the mindset that the administration is trying to spin. Everybody that's getting deported ain't criminals, aren't rapists, aren't people that are here smuggling fentanyl. Now, I'm not saying that those things don't happen, but that isn't the case for every single person that's getting kicked out of this country. There got to be a better way to do this.
And y'all, I'm getting ready to just say some things we already all know the answer to, but I'm just going to ask the questions. What are we scared of? Because my understanding, good portion of these people still pay taxes. Good portion of these people still help buy local, stimulating the economy.
Yep.
There's a cost to living here, so they're still supporting the economy. So what are we actually scared of? The criminals?
Question.
If we were to just say, hey, cool, you are here legally. I want you to pay a fine of X percentage over the next 5 years. And we're going to do a background check. And if everything on that comes back clean, you pay this fine and then you're good. Keep supporting the economy. Where's the harm in doing that?
Yep.
What are we so scared of?
Because I have a hard time understanding that as much as the government can keep up with every single thing that we're doing, I have a hard time understanding that if you come across someone that is here illegally, that within a matter of a reasonable time, you cannot do a background to find out, okay, is this person a threat, or is this a person that is a tax-paying individual that is stimulating the economy and actually doing something good?
Look, and here's the great compromise. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. The same background checks that we allow people to go through to be able to purchase guns are the same background checks that people need to do to enter the country. We now you can start, and look, I'm not one for big government, but if we're going to do this, we have an agency that is just required to run background checks on people all day, every day, whether you're coming into this country or you're buying a gun. And it's the same process for both. And Republicans will be pissed off and Democrats will be pissed off. And damn it, might have just found us a solution that we can work with.
Yep. I agree. I don't understand that. I would say something real ignorant that I ain't never understood. I don't understand why people get so scared of these immigrants but don't mind going to Taco Tuesday.
But Cinco de Mayo, dang, the entire country dang near shuts down.
I can't, bro. I can't tell you how many times I get so mad when I go to a Mexican restaurant and I gotta hear a white man say "gracias," but then they get mad and don't want they don't want the people here. It's like what? Like look, man. As a person of color, I would advise all people to get you a good group of Mexican people, bro. They are some of the most loving, bro, and resourceful type of people that you will ever meet. I don't understand what is the scare. Like, you know, I don't understand it, man.
Well, they're taking the jobs. I'm sorry,
let them. I don't want that job. Somebody's got to do them.
Like,
I don't want that job. Bro. And I know I can speak for our black people. Sharecropping is past our time for us, bro. Yep. I'm not going back to the field. Never was in there and ain't about to start.
Because I'm not the one. I'm not the one.
What's the fear? What is the fear? Now, there's crime everywhere, but you can't tell me that some of the crime that these immigrants are committing, there ain't black people committing them, there ain't white people committing them. It's a problem, just period.
Yep.
But you can't target and make it seem like the problem just comes from these people, these immigrants. No, it's a problem, period. But I think with any type of crime that we've ever seen, if you enhance the quality of living, then you may offset some of these things. Give them a legal pathway here that is reasonable and hold them accountable, just like you hold any American accountable. And I truly believe that you can solve this problem a little bit easier than going, because I'm telling you now, you ain't doing nothing but breeding terrorists.
You're breeding terrorism. And you're doing it in the most expensive fashion possible.
Yes. Like, so expensive. So expensive.
The amount of equipment it takes to do what ICE is doing is
drones,
ridiculously expensive. Man. Yeah, like
there was an individual I know that knew a family member that was going to Home Depot in California when all that mess happened. And he was like, it was something out of a movie. Like seeing them drones, them vehicles, like it was like wild. That has a cost. And then you have people that'll say, well, what is the cost of what price tag do you put on sleeping peacefully at night? I ain't sleeping any more peaceful than I was before you started all this. Right. So I don't know, but I don't think that this is the right way to do it, because when these people get deported and they go back to their home, what happens then?
Right.
What are you creating then? What extremist groups are you birthing out of going out and conducting these things in this manner? Like I said in a previous episode, I think it's a lot cheaper for us to not be making enemies out of people.
A whole lot cheaper. It is a whole lot cheaper to stop a war before it becomes one.
And you're bringing those. To me, it feels like you're bringing those wars a lot closer to home than what they need to be.
Right. There's only been a handful of wars fought in North America.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep bringing it a little bit closer and closer.
I don't understand, man. But at any rate, I believe that these charges are capped. I'm glad that his attorney at least gets to lay eyes on him. I believe they said they were going this past weekend because they had been down 3 times to El Salvador and have been able to.
I mean, I would say at a general sense, his conditions, whatever place he is here in the U.S., has to be far better than being in the terrorist supermax prison down in El Salvador.
Bro, facts. So, I mean, I believe they said like his wife will be able to come down this past weekend and see him, which, remember, we talked about at the time that he got deported, she was in there.
She was pregnant.
She was about to have the baby. So this will be the first time that he'll even get to lay eyes on his newborn baby, hopefully. And a lot of it, so I'm sure that like you said, his conditions here are a lot better off than where he was. I just hope that regardless of what has transpired, that he just gets the due diligence that he deserves. The due process, that this isn't politicized to make an example, or things are done right in accordance to the law and not the bending and stretching of the law to make a point or to make him an example. So we will see. We'll keep updated on Mr. Garcia and his situation, because I think that the outcome of his situation will definitely set a precedence to how things are going to be going forward in people in this similar situation. So with that being said, we have reached that point of our episode where we will have our pickle of the week.
We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle.
All right.
Who's in the brine, man? Who is in the brine?
Our pickle of the week, I'm a little bit ashamed by, brother. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm a little ashamed.
Oh man, it's not you, is it?
No, I'm not. I'm not the pickle of the week, but I'm worried, man. Our pickle of the week is gonna have to be Linda McMahon, bro.
No, not our fellow ECU alum.
She embarrasses, bro. She making our Eastern North Carolina education look like we need to be right back in them tobacco fields. Miss McMahon, and just when I thought that Vince was crazy, she just as crazy as he is. But she appeared before the Senate subcommittee hearing on the 3rd to defend the Trump 2026 education budget, which proposed slashing 15% of the department's funding, which includes cuts to Pell Grants and TRIO college access programs. But the real shocker in this, man, that lady don't know nothing, bro. I ain't gonna call her dumb, but bro, she don't know what she talking about, bro.
Bro, she said 4 + 4 is 44.
Bro, they got up there, man, and my boy John Kennedy. And shout out to John Kennedy. He's the senator that had the classic line that the next time you get in trouble, don't call the police, call a crackhead. So I like Kennedy. He said he come to work every day just praying that the God that he make the right decision, but by 12 o'clock he want to slap everybody.
And I feel that. I feel that.
I feel it. So shout out to the Republican from Louisiana. But he made an error calling and claiming that $1.5 billion over the span of 10 years would equal $1 trillion. And
I'm sorry. Wait. Run that math back.
1.5 billion.
Okay.
Times 10 would equal 1 trillion. That's what Kennedy said. Or when he said this to Miss McMahon, she didn't correct him. She didn't say anything until Jack Reed, the Democrat from Rhode Island, had to step in and say, that's not $1 trillion. So they pointed out that and I know that she's old.
Bro.
But for you to be in charge of the Department of Education. If somebody came to me and said, hey, 2 + 2 is 6, and I just said, something got a spark in my head and say, hold on, that don't sound right.
Saying that about something that I'm accountable for.
Bingo. So even down to she had an exchange with the Republican from Oklahoma, Senator Mullen. He asked her in 1979, he asked her, what was the U.S. standing on reading and math? Which, again, she should have some level of understanding of where we stand as a nation in our mathematics. She said that during that time, we were very, very low on the totem pole. Mullen said the U.S. actually was number 1 back then. And we're now sinking to 36th.
Well, see, that's because she thought it was reverse scoring. So she thought 50 was the highest score and 1 was that had to be what it was.
So okay. So what this was viewed as, it was what Mullins was trying to do as a Republican to help Ms. McMahon out. He was kind of trying to throw her a softball question and kind of just prove she had some basic historical knowledge of the department and where it was at. And of course, she failed.
She failed.
So then she dodged a whole bunch of yes and no questions on critical issues, like whether funding passed by Congress would actually be spent or if cutting staff and mental health and grant programs harm students. She couldn't say yes or no on nothing. And then they just reminded her on her dismantling of appropriated funds, and she just replied by saying, "I am answering the question. I'm just not giving you the answer that you want." No, ma'am, you're not answering the question. But it even went as far as her arriving with flashcards.
I mean, look, man, I've taken some tests and I've had flashcards for them, but Linda.
She went in there with flashcards, and it was reported that at the top of one of the flashcards that she had written, "Stay calm." And there was a couple of times when they would ask her questions, and like they would tell her, like, it's not on none of your flashcards. Like, don't look at your flashcards. Just answer the question. Like, you're not gonna have this. Like, I think God, one of the women asked her about a black inventor, and they were like, "Hey, do you think that children learning about this black inventor is important?" And they were like, I guess she went to go grab for the card. They were like, no, that's not on one of the cards. Like, just tell me, do you think that is yes important?
No. What is your opinion on said subject?
But bro, she was like, she struggled horribly. She had a horrible performance in front of the subcommittee. And that just made me think that if this person is in charge of the Department of Education, bro, we screwed. She has no clue. And I'm sorry to our alumni. I'm sorry to a former pirate, to a fellow pirate. But Miss McMahon, you have no clue what in God's name you are doing. You have no right to be in this position. You are just taking orders and doing things and have no clue what you're doing at all. And that is dangerous. There are a lot of people that rely on these programs, and she don't even know what the programs are for.
Right. So she ain't probably seen the inside of a school or a PTA meeting in eons.
Bruh, you would think that the Secretary of Education would at least pass a basic oral exam. But between the flashcards, she can't do math, and just fumbling factual just information, she flunked her first test.
Look, I mean, Linda, you might have just been better off say, "Hey, I'm just following orders."
Yep.
I'm just following orders.
Or you could just did like Marshawn Lynch said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." You could just say that, "I'm just here so I don't get fined."
And you know what? And this would have been a fire. Instead of a pickle, this would have been a spotlight, and we would have kept it moving.
You would have kept it moving. But because you are the Secretary of Education, and education you have not, you are this week's Pickle of the Week.
I mean, but before we leave that, Linda, if you'd like to get the boys some tickets to WrestleMania in Vegas, we would love to be there. We would love to be there.
And if you want to come defend yourself, if you want to, because look, they may not give you a retake on your test, but we'll allow you to come up on the pod and do some extra credit. Look, and get your grade up. Right now,
we will ask the same exact questions to start.
Yep. Just so you already know, it's going to be the same question in a different order,
but the same questions.
So that way you know what you need to study for. You have your study guide, and just come up here and just show the American people that you're not as bad as we really think you are. Because right now you're a whole pickle. You're a whole pickle. So that's our pickle for the week. So. Man. With that being said, we've reached the conclusion of our episode. And as always, at the end of the episode, we like to give you our spotlight of the week. So, my brother, what is your spotlight or spotlights of the week?
My spotlight, it could also be seen as a pickle.
Okay.
The block is starting to get a little bit hot. So, last week, Ukraine gave Russia that work, and they ain't see it coming. Didn't see it come in.
Yo.
So for those of you who are unaware, a year and a half of planning went into planning this attack on Russia.
Oh, bro, I didn't know it went to that level.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Russia. Hold on, you talking about Ukraine, right?
Ukraine, yeah.
Okay, shout out Ukraine.
So Ukraine got a whole bunch of drones, about $400 or $500 drones, had them put on semi-trucks in like the big rigs of semi-trucks.
Yeah.
Had them driven to the outside of military installations deep within Russia. And then all at once, in my head, this is how it worked out. You remember in, oh gosh, I forget which Avengers movie, the Gold People, where they were all operating those androids in that battle. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Go. So all at once, they released, the tops came off of these semis. They flew these drones up into the air and started going after, and like they went on self-destruct mode, flew these drones into a whole bunch of Russian planes. Now the number is disputed, but it's somewhere between 10 and 30% of Russia's strategic bombing fleet.
That's a lot.
And blew them all to hell.
Bruh. So, see, this is what happened, bro. This is like the movie Rudy.
But that wasn't it. Later on, like 2-3, and then
hold on now. Let me ask you a question real quick. Yeah. This happened while they were having negotiations,
peace
right?
talks. Yep.
Oh, bro, when somebody got that text, they was like, bro, I do.
But they weren't done. The bridge that led to Russia to Crimea, these boys had stuff set up underwater.
Yeah.
A bunch of the supports of the main bridge, there's only one way in there from Russia, is this bridge. They went there and blew out a whole bunch of these supports, so you can't drive over this thing anymore.
Oh, bruh. Russia.
A year.
I mean, Ukraine up, bro.
And then Russia was just kind of sitting there like, because they didn't know what to do. Like,
that's a push to the lever.
Bro, how do you not see this, huh? Oh, and these semi-trucks that were sitting outside all these military installations, after all these drones went off, they self-destructed. They went Inspector Gadget on them.
Yo.
And Russia responded like we knew they were going to respond. First, they're like, well, we're going to send a nuke. And everyone's like, hey, man, chill. You're not going to send it.
That's how you know you really gave them that uppercut. Because when they had to go that big, like, bro, don't be mad at how we just played y'all. Like, come on now.
Played like a fiddle. So Russia has now up their electronic warfare protection. So they got GPS jamming signals and all that stuff to try to crash the drones if they try to do it again.
Boo.
But how do you, as a major superpower in your head, allow giant semis that you hadn't checked to be set up outside of your military installations with some of your most powerful weapons of for your Air Force, and they just took them out? And then here's the beautiful thing about these drones. They were cheap.
Yeah.
And because they move so fast, you don't really have air support. You have people trying to shoot them out of the sky, and it's probably not working that well. I played plenty of Call of Duty, try to shoot out surveillance airplane and be missing.
Be missing like crazy.
Be missing. So,
bro, first of all, I want everybody to know that when this war first started, we were in a group chat.
Bro.
And the boys was like, bro, they got a weekend.
Bro.
We knew that Russia was going to blow Ukraine off the face of the earth.
I didn't know what was going to happen faster. The time it took Jesus to rise from the dead or Russia taking out Ukraine. That's how fast I thought this was going to be.
Surely before they got him in the tomb and closed it, Russia was going to be done with Ukraine.
Right.
We are now at what? Almost a year and a half, 2 years?
Oh, no. We're starting to be moving up on year 3 here in a little bit.
Year 3? See, this is wild, bro. It's taking them so long. So that goes to show you. First of all, Russia ain't no superpower like they thought they were.
They're getting exposed.
You're getting exposed. You getting exposed because it should not take you this much to be fighting with somebody like Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You done had to bring in a whole nother nation of soldiers,
bruh.
Because they brought in North Korean soldiers, right?
And apparently these people done discovered the internet.
And this is so crazy.
Then became fans of Mark Robinson. Robinson's dramatic writing.
How you come to war and discover the internet, bro? Like, you supposed to be fighting. Why are you on the internet? Who gave you these cell phones?
Who gave you?
So they all dying. So you done had to bring in reinforcement. Ukraine just fighting with people that's the butcher, the farmer, the brick maker, and they going to town, bro.
And U.S. weapons. It helps that Ukraine's gotten some backup.
But see, that goes to show you, when given the resources, when the playing field is leveled, look what we got.
Bro, what Cat Williams say? We'll line up.
Yep.
Get me on that line.
Shout out to Ukraine, bro, for putting up a fight. I just can only imagine getting that text and sitting there in those peace negotiations, bro. I know somebody had to be like, whammy.
Bro, and just smiling.
Just smiling, doing.
I imagine some of them were sitting in there with the same bravado that Obama had at the White House correspondents' dinners, knowing that they were about to go take out bin Laden.
Yep.
He's like,
had to, bro. Had to. That's that
just
energy,
sitting there,
bro.
just like, man, I don't know if this is going to work.
Bro, that is crazy.
They saw them people walk into their chat with their Russian counterparts the way that the person from the Bush administration had to lean over and tell them the 9/11 text. It's like, let me not change my face real quick. Like, hey, can we take a bathroom break real quick? I gotta go call.
Ukrainian people came in here real chipper this morning. What they got going on? What kind of coffee they have? You see?
Oh, don't worry. It's
no cream, no sugar, straight black.
But that's my spotlight of the week.
Okay. Well, man, mine is not as nearly entertaining, at least not yet. It hasn't fully developed.
We got time.
Yeah, the oven's still preheating, but as you kind of mentioned earlier, we got another one. Trump always in a fight with somebody. But we got a federal funding face-off between Newsom and Donald Trump.
Oh, man.
The Trump administration has threatened to withhold millions of federal funds from California, primarily targeting their homeland security and public safety grants. And of course, Newsom has fired back. Newsom has accused Trump of using federal funds as a weapon to punish political opponents and said California won't be bullied into violating civil rights. That was a quote.
Not our Donald Trump. Not him doing that. No.
Come on. So Trump obviously responded and said that California is out of control and shouldn't expect federal dollars while protecting criminals from deportation. So the real problem here is that with these funds, a lot of this goes to a lot of the first responders, the local law enforcement, emergency services. So Newsom
you mean services for citizens?
Exactly. So Newsom's arguing that the funds don't go to politicians, that you're hurting the real people, and you're cutting them and cutting those funds is not making them tough on crime or helping them to be tough on crime is actually quite reckless. So this battle that Trump's having with these federal funds, which it seems like a card that he likes to play a lot, and he's done it before. In 2019, Trump paused wildfire aid after criticizing California's forest management. And then in 2020, he did the same thing with sanctuary cities when it came to COVID relief reimbursements. So this is a thing that he seems to do when he doesn't get his way, that he likes to try to use or withhold federal funds from states and use them kind of as a carrot that he likes to dangle. But I think he may be biting off more than he can chew, because Newsom said, have you forgot how much money we pay? Have you forgot how much we add to the federal funding? Like, I don't think nearly what you give us is not nearly as much as we send back. So
he said it doesn't have to be something, but it can be.
So this war between Newsom and, as Manny has pointed out before when we covered about the immigration, the war that they're having in L.A. with ICE and all the protests and sending in the National Guard, I think that we may have a little bit of a fight brewing. And this may be something that Newsom may be looking to welcome, as we know that he may potentially have aspirations of being a presidential candidate. Is this something that he's looking at as a big stage for him to show how he's going to be tough on Trump, or just show and flex how he may look as a potential presidential candidate? We may never know, but I think we got a little bit of a fight going on, and we shall see. So,
man, well,
that is my spotlight, man, of the week. So
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with everything that's happening in LA right now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, man. So Trump's like that kid, man. He's like Bobby Hill off of King of the Hill, just walking around yelling, "That's my purse."
I don't know you.
He's just picking a fight with everybody, bro. So we'll see how that plays out, but. That is the conclusion of our episode, season 2, episode 23. As always, we are so appreciative for you tuning in. We thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, any topics that you want us to touch, let us know. We may be serious, or we may be just as comical as we possibly can be, because sometimes, as the saying goes, to keep from crying, you got to laugh a little bit. So... So we will try our best to do those things. So that's it for us, man. Anything, man? All hearts and minds clear, brother?
All hearts and minds clear, and we got a treat for y'all next week.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got something coming up next week, so be on the lookout for those things. So if all hearts and minds clear, we here at the pod always tell you that if don't nobody love you, just know the boys here at the pod. We love you.
We love y'all.
Take care. Hope this episode finds you well, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, world.
Take care.